This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Always good to catch up with Seabass to see what's going on in the world of sport and discuss things that have gone on the weekend.
She always sits about 10 metres away from the desk.
Because my legs are giant and they don't fit under the table.
We can lift the entire table, Harry.
Goodness.
Can you lift the table for the BFG here?
Do you know what? At work, I have my chair. It's like on the ground.
There you go. Ready?
All clear?
Yeah, everything's
Everything's
clear.
clear?
All clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
All clear.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go. Is this not?
That's-
Is that it?
Oh, that's it.
Oh, we're at
wow.
max capacity.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
disappointing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sorry. I'll put it back.
My mate Spider Burton, because he's tall and the rest of the family, they have their benches.
Like their
A lot
kitchen
higher,
benches and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Which I think Luke Longley's the same.
Yeah, and Agare's house as well.
But she's the tiniest person
Well,
in the
she
world.
does all the cooking, so I imagine the kitchen benches are her
they're
height.
probably lower.
But he
Yeah.
had a giant toilet in his old house
Yeah.
because he couldn't. Like, he
that
had
where
a
house
back problem, and so he needed a bigger toilet because it was too much.
I
It would
can't
be like
remember-
us going to a kindy toilet.
I can't remember. Oh no, there's I listened to this podcast. How did this get made? Right, and then it is two comedians, June Diane Raphael and her husband Paul Scheer, and they describe themselves as taller. And when they built their house, they basically built it for a tall person, and they said they could not sell it.
No,
Yeah.
you'd have to
afterwards
sell it to an NBA
because
player.
It's literally, she goes, it wasn't that much taller, but because it's not the normal height that everyone
Yes.
was used to, it
was
threw
off-putting.
everyone off. Yeah.
But isn't the population getting taller? I
Yes.
feel
Yes.
like I meet so many more young women now who are tall, whereas back in the day I was.
No, they just flock to you.
They do.
because you're
I mean,
one
we
of
do
them.
have a secret club, and
But-
we all
but
catch
you're
up together.
right.
Myself and Lauren Jackson.
But
were
back
like
in the
that.
day, I was like
Yes,
the
the
tallest
freak,
person.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But now, there's us everywhere.
Well, I was watching
Not
the
you.
draft, and one of the boys that won the 2K time trial, he's like 195 centimetres.
Whoa.
And he crushed it. And tall people aren't supposed to be able to run. That
No,
was always
that's
my
right.
default.
Uncos.
yeah.
It takes us
Exactly.
25 years to get control of the limbs.
So much energy to lift one leg and get
It's
it down
great.
again.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Next minute, your leg's in your food. You're going, how's this happen? You don't understand.
Seabass, a big weekend of sport. Yesterday I didn't get the chance to talk about the NRL Grand Final.
Oh.
What did you make of it?
Disappointed because I was going for Storm.
Melbourne Storm?
Yeah. Look, it had so much potential. I think the first half, it was really like a gritty grind, and then they let the Panthers score just
Yeah.
before half time. But
Four's too many.
it is. It's just
Four in
boring.
a row is too
And
many.
There's something I don't like the arrogance of Jerome Luai. There's something just about him that
Well, he's leaving now.
I know,
He's
and I
moving
just, for someone who didn't get the fairy tale ending, I don't know what it is. I just didn't want him to get that fairy tale ending either. So I was disappointed for Storm. But in saying that, I don't think they actually performed well in the second half. So
Well, I think that Penrith, the one thing that was clear to me is they used the high ball to their advantage, and every time they rushed the full backs or the wingers for the Melbourne Storm, they won possession and they were able to score.
Yes.
But the thing is about Penrith, and a lot of people in WA don't follow NRL, but there's a hell of a lot that do.
Yeah.
How the hell in modern sport in Australia
Yes.
you can make 5 grand finals in a row and win 4 in a row? So they lost the first one against the Melbourne Storm when they first played in 2020. Since then, they've won every single one.
Yeah.
There's a salary cap of $11.2 million shared amongst those 30 players.
Yeah.
And
How?
normally that means the best players leave because they've got opportunities
Yes.
to get high money elsewhere.
So
how
are
have they been able to do it?
Are there no other equalisation measures in that competition?
There's no draft.
Yeah.
It's up to you to be able to sign
So-
players
Yes.
or bring players through your
But
system.
the salary cap should prevent you from being able to buy the best if you're already paying. If
Is
you're
there,
already at capacity.
is there dodges happening on the side?
Clearly.
No, well, do you know what? I think what Penrith has going for it is they brought those players up from grassroots. So
Yeah.
they had players who wanted to play
They
with each
invested in
other
the-
because
in
they
the
were best
future.
mates.
Right.
And now we are seeing them split off. There's players who are going to be leaving and going elsewhere and taking the big bucks. But for the last 4 years, the dynasty that they've created has been so much about the friendships and the partnerships. And why wouldn't you want to stick around to win and create something
Yes.
legendary with your best mates?
Because I could imagine there'd be some dodgy dealings going on, only because I'm going purely from the red carpet from their last thing. All the wives look like mobster wives. Like when you compare it to the wags of football, they were all in pastels and stuff. They were just glare foil, just alfoil dresses.
It's a mandatory neck tattoo.
It was
Yeah,
insane.
to get into it.
And that's for the women.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was like, wow, mobsters.
No, it was great. I enjoyed the game. Pappenhausen, I love Ryan Pappenhausen. I think
Why,
he's
because of the mullet?
Pappy, I just think he's an excitement machine. And then at the end, Cameron Munster bit someone, apparently.
But he's been cleared.
He's been cleared.
Yeah.
but
I didn't think it was a bite.
I didn't think it was a bite either. I think if you shove someone's arm in someone's mouth...
Yeah.
Of course they're going to have a
Of
nibble.
course. So, I mean, he's got a mouth guard
He had a
in as
mouth
well.
guard, yeah.
And how much some
damage
sweat
can
and
you
you're a
do?
little salty, so that's not a bad thing.
I was so mad, guys. It's like your nana taking her teeth out and chewing in your arm.
How often did that happen?
Hey, Seabass,
What's your
we've
favourite
got the
reference?
cricket season now underway. T20 World Cup for the women is taking place in Dubai, but the Sheffield Shield action's taking place
One of them
here.
was so hot. I saw her on the
Yeah.
news the other day. Meg, was it
could
Meg?
you imagine?
No, Beth Mooney, and she was-
Beth Mooney. Her face was red.
Volcanic.
Like she looked like she would just explode.
So they reckon it's going to be like 40s while they're playing,
That's
and
a
they've
lot.
been practicing. They went and did saunas and heat chamber stuff up in Cairns to prepare for this tournament because, they're standing out there. I know T20 is quicker, so it's not like they're out there for 10
but
hours at a
still.
time. But holy moly, imagine playing in
her
that.
Make it
body,
really
her body
combust.
was saying no. There are some people that aren't
Yeah.
built for the heat.
Yeah,
Like you literally
true.
can't. And she's not built for the heat, and she's a cricketer.
And like if you're batting and running and you're wearing all the
no.
gear in that heat, that's
I think the best
Grim.
thing is I love Midge, the Alyssa Healy, the captain. She's the keeper, and her nickname's Midge because she's annoying. She's a pest,
Yes.
and so she stands
Midgie.
behind the wickets and she
Yes.
just chats constantly. And Chamari Adapadu was batting for
Sri Lanka, yeah.
and she chipped a shot, like didn't play it. She said, "Play the shot,
Yeah.
Chamari," and the next one she hit it and she got out. And I just
Yeah.
thought that was
It's awesome, wasn't it?
beautiful. But what really impressed me was they had their opening ceremony and they had all the photos with the captains. They're sitting on camels.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It was amazing.
I mean,
In what world do you sit
that's
on a
like
camel?
when they make all the world leaders wear the same
Yeah.
shirt.
And then the other two, they were standing there, they had giant hawks
Yeah.
on their
Yeah.
arm. Like, how
That's
cool
amazing.
That was
is
actually it was really
Yeah.
like a cool postcard sort of shot. Yeah,
Yeah.
Giant
opulent.
hawks.
Yeah.
The giant hawks are good until they start pecking on your head.
I know, right?
Keep him happy.
Sean Sport in podcast form.
So the AFL trade period began yesterday. Jack Darling moving to North Melbourne. Bit of a free hit. Nathan, you asked me yesterday what they would have to give up or what
Yes.
they would get for him. And
What do
I
they
said
get?
Barely anything.
large chips and possibly a gravy. It was pick 67, which is the equivalent.
It's like a bowl of lemons.
Bowl of
That's
lemons.
67. Would
What
be
do
a bowl
people
of
have at their
lemons.
home? Bowl of lemons.
It's to show that you got money.
Lemons.
And that you lose.
or a
you
lemon
use
tree.
lemons. No, if you have a lemon tree, it's to show that you're doing well. If you got a bowl of lemons, if you got a bowl of anything, really.
Or you
but
drink
like,
a lot of
just
gin and
like just
tonic.
like random citrus that you don't even
Oh,
use.
gin.
'Cause you're not
Random
using,
citrus.
No one's using a bowl of lemons.
I know.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Pick 67.
So, yep.
So it's
Jack
a freebie,
Graham
essentially, yeah.
is a West Coast Eagle coming over from the Richmond Footy Club, and he got a 4-year deal to come over as a free agent, so there's no worries there. The big deal is for a couple of players at the moment. The one's to do with Tom Barrass, and Hawthorn want him to come over and play. He wants to go to
Yes.
Hawthorn.
Yep.
They're offering pick 13, but West Coast Eagles at this point in time are saying absolutely
It's
not.
not
They
enough.
want to, and they deserve to, because Shea Bolton's coming over from Richmond to Fremantle, and that'll happen at some stage, and Richmond want 2. So if he's worth 2, then
Yeah.
Tom Barrass is worth 2.
Oh, Tommy
no,
is definitely
So
worth
2
two.
for 2.
Yeah.
2 for 2 for sure. The other one that's going around at the moment, and it has been for a while, was Clayton Oliver leaving the Melbourne Football Club. Christian Petrarca was trying to leave before. They're heavily contracted, these
Yeah.
players.
But he's chained in the change room
Well,
at the moment.
this is what happens when you sign a multi-year, big bucks contract.
Isn't it
They want their
interesting
money's
though?
worth.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting though that the news is they're not letting him out of the contract because it's been so we're just so used to people being let out of their contracts
Yes.
these days.
Well, they are, because
Yeah.
they're always going with either mental
Yeah.
health or the family thing that they're throwing up all
He
the
threw
time.
both of them out there and they went, nah.
Yeah. Cozzy Pickett's the other one at the Melbourne Footy Club, who there was talk that him coming to Fremantle and
Yes.
or going to an Adelaide club. The list manager at Melbourne yesterday, well...
He was under the pump, wasn't he?
He was under the pump. They were coming at him left, right and centre. This is his first explanation for Clayton Oliver.
Tim, let's start with the obvious one. Clayton Oliver, will he be at the footy club next year?
Yes, Cal, 100%. Yeah, obviously there's been a lot of reporting about Clayton, which is unfortunate, but Clas has never been offered for trade and he'll be playing for Melbourne.
Right, Cozzy Pickett then. Is he moving?
No, Cos will be playing for us next year. He won't be going anywhere.
Now, if you
So,
watch all
no
the
changes
shows on Foxtel, which I've been watching on Fox Footy, they're all saying, "Oh, these guys are going." Now, this is a list manager who categorically is saying they're not
They're
up for
not.
grabs and they're staying
You know what
put.
we need to do? It works for when you're flying. We need to put air tags on them to see
Yeah.
where they are
Yeah.
and where
Yes,
they end
who
up.
they're talking to as well. Like, where have you been meeting at a cafe?
Imagine that live tracking all the trade
Yes.
options
Yeah.
at
The
the
all the
moment.
trade bait.
That website will
Well,
be...
there's some sneaky stuff going on, because when Fremantle were trying to get Luke Jackson, now they during the start of the year, actually, they met him at Crown, and he got sprung.
In Perth or
Well,
Melbourne.
Yeah, in Perth.
of course you would be
Yeah.
a Crown.
'Cause
If you
he's
want to
6
meet
foot
someone,
6, 6'7".
go to a bloody little cafe in Midland.
Yeah.
Or go for a walk on the beach or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you need to be.
Or
yeah.
going to the hills.
Yes. And
Just
just sit
walk
in a
into the
parked
hills.
car.
Well, Clayton Oliver got caught out having a meeting actually with Geelong's list manager
Okay.
in a cafe in Melbourne. I
You
mean,
so-
everyone spots those guys. They're
I know, and
famous
that's- yeah,
in
he's
Melbourne.
very
So
Holy
obvious.
hell.
that's strategic, is it?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of that,
If you
Nate.
don't want a meeting to happen, you do not have to go to a cafe. You do not have
No.
to go to a restaurant.
No, you don't.
If you're flying over, you can literally meet in a car somewhere in a suburb and have it
100%.
completely secret.
Yeah.
If you're at a cafe, you want people to see.
I would have thought so.
And surely, wouldn't their manager be doing most of the groundwork at this point? Why is Clayton Oliver meeting the list manager?
No, because you want to hear what they've got to say face to
personally.
face.
Yeah. Get together.
FaceTime.
It's all about the
FaceTime.
vibes, Natalie. It's all
It's
about
all
the
about
vibes.
vibes. But I
The
think
vibes of the cafe
It's
they're
the
meeting
vibes.
in.
Yeah, it's the
still a
vibes.
lot to do. It's looking it's
How
looking
many
good
more
for
days
West
have we
Coast
got?
Eagles. Oh, we've got until Monday, so every day there's going to be something talked about. But the West Coast Eagles losing Tom Barras, it's not
Yeah.
a bad thing. Like, he's such a great player, but
Yes.
to be able to get two first-round draft picks,
if we can get them.
yeah. It's going to be extraordinary for the Eagles going forward, and with Liam Baker coming over from Richmond, which will end up getting done, add Jack Graham into the mix there. You're starting to get back to a team that can be competitive at least.
Fingers crossed.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.